year was 1988, and Michelle and Steve met in the 6th grade class at the West Intermediate School in Wilmington, Massachusetts. I'm gonna cry too. Matt, Amy, Kelly, and Debbie were all close friends, and they went to school there too. They all remained friends throughout all of their school years. Steve moved to New Hampshire and then Vegas for a few years. When Steve decided to move home, Michelle and Steve started hanging out together again. Because they were friends, and only friends, they thought it would be a great idea to get season's tickets to the Red Sox together. They both felt that they would be friends forever, so why not get tickets together? They continued to go to Sox games as well as concerts, including Bon Jovi, Jimmy Buffett, the Country Fest, and many more. Parties and New Year's were also spent together by Michelle and Steve. Their friendship continued, and they would go on camping trips, such as Baltimore and Key West. Yes, they once had a hotel room to themselves, and nothing happened. Every Sunday was breakfast for Michelle and Steve. Steve would pick up Michelle and they would go to Campbell's in Wilmington, a well-known breakfast spot. They were always best friends, and yes, they did fight like brother and sister. There were times that even their own friends could not understand why they were not together as boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's right.
But when anybody asked, Michelle and Steve would always say, "It's because we are best friends, and that's it." Now, it was New Year's Eve, December 31, 2010. This New Year's Eve seemed different than any other they had ever spent together. As it was getting closer to midnight, Michelle and Steve suddenly realized that they had gone from being childhood friends to being close friends, adult friends, and now... on this special night, they realized that they were hopelessly in love, soulmates. They decided to tell their closest friends first. Michelle told Kelly, whose response was, "Michelle? Really? Steve? Seriously? What?" And that kept happening with all of their friends who could not believe that Michelle and Steve had transitioned from being friends to being boyfriend and girlfriend. Matt's response to the news was one word: finally.
Exactly.
Michelle tried to tell Lisa, and her answer was, "Wow," followed by another, "Wow." Steve, the Steve, Stevie B, wow. This continued until Michelle finally hung up on her. "Sorry, Lisa, too many wows." Then Steve told Jack, and his response was 3 words: "It's about time." Barbie was all excited too, as well as many other friends and family members. Michelle's mom was all excited since they had loved Steve all along. But the funniest response goes to Mama and Papa Muse. Kelly decided to tell them, and this is how it went. Kelly said, "Mom, guess what? Michelle and Steve are together." The answer that came back, "Really? You mean they're finally having sex?" Woohoo! Two years would pass, and now it was 2012. Steve proposed to Michelle on her birthday in the Dominican Republic during Hurricane Sandy on the beach. In January 2013, they decided to plan tonight's huge celebration. And that brings us to this moment, right here, right now. Michelle and Steve have a great relationship and an understanding of each other. They have grown to realize that everyone's not perfect and that being together takes a lot of work. Although for Michelle and Steve, the work is pretty easy because getting along and being together is the easiest thing they do. So each and every one of you here tonight has a special connection with either Michelle or Steve or both. They invited you here today to share in their special moment because you mean so much to both of them. And now, please welcome, as husband and wife, finally, Mr. and Mrs. Stephen and Michelle Bowden! Steve and Michelle. Michelle and Steve. Husband and wife. And now, Here they are for their first day.